Really not easy at all, and you can't underestimate like how bad some of the periods have been for her, and just how how well she's taken it as a trooper.
How long does it last?
A couple of minutes.
Every hour?
Every hour. Sorry. I don't notice the whole situation anymore. Obviously, my hair sucks. I'm more chubby than what I used to be, but that's all fine. But the hot flashes, they just remind me every hour that I'm not healthy. It's really annoying. But most of the time I can fairly ignore them and turn the fan on and I'm okay. That's pretty bad. But yeah. I'm fine now.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
It's like you're just trying to get through the day and be normal, and
yeah, it's setting me back every time a little bit. Want ik denk dat op dit moment is de grootste strijd gewoon mentaal.
Ja, dat klopt.
Elk pijnscheutje wat ik voel, denk ik van oh.
Ja. Nou, en ik ben ook bang dat eigenlijk nooit weggaat. Ook niet na 5 jaar, als je begrijpt wat ik bedoel.
Nou, dat is niet goed vooruit.
Nou ja, het punt is, de percentage wordt steeds lager.
Ja.
Maar het gaat niet naar 0.
Nee.
En vandaar dat je, denk ik, dat maakt zo'n ziekte zo lastig. Want ik bedoel, als je je been breekt, is het ook niet leuk.
Nee.
Maar op een gegeven moment is dat klaar, dan kan je weer gewoon lopen.
Verder, ja.
Maar dit soort dingen, dat heb je 1 keer gehad. En misschien komt het nooit meer terug, daar hoop je op.
Ja.
Maar de schrikmomenten, ja, die zullen eigenlijk wel blijven.
Er zijn opvliegers extra vervelend, want die brengen het elke keer weer terug.
Ja, dat is zo.
Die zorgen ervoor dat ik niet een post kan gaan zonder eraan te denken.
Nee, daarom. Dus dat maakt het extra lastig. Maar
ja, inderdaad.
dat zoals we aan het begin zeiden, one step at a time.
We like the shit out of you.
I can't thank you enough for opening up yourself and your family and sharing your story with everyone, because so many people have been touched by cancer or something in their lives, and they feel so isolated and so alone.
It is something that you don't expect to go through, obviously, but there are millions everywhere that have either a friend, a relative, themselves, and it's not just cancer. There's tons of diseases out there that most people don't even know about. And nobody really talks about them, ever. It's actually really weird. Everybody, if you look at Facebook posts or any social media, everybody's always really happy. And, they leave the bad stuff. And, in a way that's good, because that's not something you should focus on. But it's there. For most people, there is something. Obviously, some have it worse than others, but there's something that's just, it sucks. And obviously, going through this journey, I actually had so much support from everybody that the importance of sharing it actually came out. I was, a really big silver lining. I've been writing a blog, obviously, and I talk a lot about silver linings. And this is definitely the biggest one, I think.
This was the first time, Owen, that you've seen the piece, and you obviously mean a lot, not just to her, but to her entire family. So what has this journey been like for you?
It's obviously been a long one and a hard one with, as I sort of said in the piece, a lot of sort of downs that the community's not going to hear about. It's not going to be something that you really want to talk about publicly. Obviously, she does an amazing job at noting down everything in her blog. But to to sort of reflect on how it was back then to how it's now, it's just been an amazing journey, I feel, for me and Shiv in terms of the support that the community's given, the people that work around us have given us as well, our colleagues, our friends. You know, we, in a sort of sense, and even though it's a horrible situation, we were fortunate enough to be in the position that we are, and there are a lot of other people out there who obviously aren't as lucky in that sense, and I think as Shiv says, you know, there's a lot of support out there for other people that I do hope people get, because there's always someone that cares about you, no matter if it's you or if it's someone that you know that's suffering from cancer or any other disease. There's always people out there who want to hear and are always there to help. And as I said, we're just surrounded by amazing people that were, you know, our beck and call, ready to help and ready to talk to either of us whenever we wanted.
And I know that this was a little over a year ago that you were diagnosed. Can you give us an update on where your health is today?
Well, right now, the hot flushes still suck. Other than that, in December, I'm on a waiting list, and in December I hope to be getting my second boob, so that will be a good one. And then I'm on hormone therapy, which is basically a pill every day and a jab every month that removes any estrogen from my body. So that will go on for another 4 years. And after that, it is basically roll the dice, see if it comes back or not, and hope that it doesn't. And the odds are in my favor, so that's at least something. Yeah, so it's not done yet, but it's definitely so much better than it was last year.
I think something that you said that probably all of us can relate to is that you read about other people going through bad stuff, and you see it happening to other people. And even if it happens to a friend or a family member, you can set it aside and walk away. You can't set it aside.
No, it was actually really odd because, you know, I always have this doesn't happen to me kind of attitude, and that's in my entire family. Nobody in my family has cancer, at least not that close to me. And, you know, it's always happening to other people. And then when it did happen to me, it was really weird because all of a sudden you have all these possibilities. It's like, well, if that happens to me, everything can happen to me. So you're starting to be very paranoid. At least I had a very paranoid period at some point where I was in a car. I was like, well, you know, it never happened to me, but who knows? It was really crazy, and it's really the biggest reality check ever. Yeah.
And now here you are. You've gathered some of your closest friends and everyone out in the bowl who is here for you too. What does that mean?
It's been, you know, it's been so crazy because I feel very fortunate that I have a lot of close friends, a lot of good people that can have my back. Like if I have a hot flash during a panel segment, you know, Nahaz will pick it up and talk for a minute longer. No matter how many people say, stop talking Nahaz, he'll continue talking until he sees that I put that fan down and I'm ready to go again. And that, you know, it's something small, but it makes all the difference to me. And even if it's one person from around the world that send me a message via either Twitter or any kind of social media thing, it might seem to them that it's a small thing, like, hey, if you ever need anything, let me know. And you know, somewhere you both know that you'll never need anything. But at the same time, saying that actually makes a big difference, because just knowing that there's people there that have your back, like, it doesn't matter if it's a fan somewhere or a distant relative or anybody that's very close to you. It's just having it said out loud, I mean, it makes all the difference in the world.
In a way, it's the only way that we can help carry this burden for you, as much as we can.
It has made a difference. It's crazy how different it is. Thank you for coming out to the Netherlands as well.
That was great. I love your family.
Yeah, I'm sure they love you, but you did make every single one of them cry.
Sorry.
I was initially very worried about this video because I knew that she made everybody cry.
Not on purpose, though. I swear it was not.
But it could have been a piece about, you know, everybody saying, you know, how sad it was and how teary it was. But thank you for making it, for me at least, feel very authentic, because that video really felt like that is that is how it went, and that is how it is, and that is important. And I'm sure that I'm not the only one that is going through hard times. And I think it's very important that people that go through hard times, there's a lot of people that go through hard times, and it's okay to talk about it. And, you know, it's okay, for example, for me, it was very important to know, it's okay to cry at some points, as long as you can then move on, try to put it behind you, and focus on some silver linings. There's always some, I've learned.
I know I speak for everyone watching right now. We are so thankful that you're here today. You are
This quiz would have looked very different otherwise.
You are a kick-ass Dota host and caster. You are so good at what you do, and you're an incredible human being.
Thank you.
So, thank you. I know you mentioned just how important your coworkers have been, and I know that everyone on panel has been watching, Red Eye's been watching, and I know that their support has meant so much because we're a family, right, Paul?
Absolutely, yeah. I couldn't have put it any better, Casey. We are a family, especially the talent group. I know that we were worried for Shiva and sent all her messages and everything else. And I just want to wrap up, give you guys a chance to talk about it as well. For me personally, I have to say I've said this to Shiva anyway, to her face. She knows I've said this before, but I have to tell you, you are absolutely 100% bona fide a hero to me. You are such an inspiration, so thank you.
She's the only reason I would be at this desk right now. She was one of the only people who took a chance on me before Ti8. She said, Grant, do you want to cast with me back then? I mean, no one did that. She was the first one to do it. It means a lot.
I mean, I've obviously been through very hard times before too, but like just, I'm kind of lost for words because this kind of thing is always like very emotional. And I just want to thank her for posting that video because it helps a lot of people, including myself. So thank you very much.
Gods, I didn't think there was anyone more teary than me on this panel, but I think you might be beating me, buddy. Are you all right? Okay. I think we'll move on. But thank you. Shiva, thank you. And thank you to everyone here as well, and everyone that supported Shiva and Dota 2 over the last 12 months. It means such a great deal to all of us, no matter whether it's big or small. As Shiva pointed out, every message matters. It's time for us to get back to the Dota 2, because I'm sure that's exactly what Shiva wants to do right now, knowing her as we do. So let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen, and move on to our second game of the day. It's our second series and the second game in the lower bracket. VG Gaming and Team Secret going head-to-head with each other. Blimey, O'Reilly. How are these two meeting up, Grant, this early in the tournament? That's not in the script.
I know, it's not. VG Gaming, I mean, they had a terrible group stage, right?
Yes.
They just had an absolute terrible one. We had some amazing games from like LAN M on its Earthshaker solo carrying games, but they just played otherwise poorly. In Secret, I mean, they had to go against one of the best teams in the upper bracket, so here we are.
Amazing. I mean, your old boys. Can they conquer this curse of the second place, Black?
I mean, I'm sure they would be delighted to even get there right now because they have not been in the best shape. They can do it. They've shown a lot of times that they can do it. They have the skill. I just hope that things come together for them because I really feel like they have not shown at all what they're capable of. And yeah, hopefully they will have a better showing than they did in the group stage.
Yeah, they're going to need to have a bit of showing for sure. Secret as well at the same time. It happens again. It seems to happen, Gods, every year to these poor guys. Every year they drop down to the lower bracket early.
Yeah, they haven't had the best streak at TI. They've definitely had quite a few rough years. They've come in as favorites. If you go back to Ti8, they've had some great rosters. Every year, Puppy comes back, puts together a new mix, and it's definitely a testament to Puppy as a captain, how much he can do for this team, because year after year they're there, and they're always talked about as a contender.
Yeah, and I guess it's the same on the other side. We've got some old heads on the other side as well. Lanham amongst them. He's going to be getting them ready, isn't he?
Captain Lanham?
Yeah.
Let's see who's the better captain of old.
Yeah, that's kind of what this is, isn't it? A little bit of that. They are battle of the history.
Yep, and then you kind of bring in the new, after the old, they each brought in their own new player, Ace and Ori, and now it's, I mean, who captains, who coaches the best?
Yeah. What did you make of Secret's group stage? Because that wasn't. I mean, Grant's already pointed out Vichi's wasn't very good at all, but Secret's wasn't great either. It was a little bit ropey, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then they went through, but it was so difficult for them. They had a tiebreaker, which they did they ran the Meepo, of course, which gave them a free win against Newbie. But if that didn't happen, if they had to play regular games, who knows where they would even be there. But as we said before, they have all these cheeses. I think that's a strong point, that they have so many different heroes. All of their core players especially can play. And we haven't really seen that in the upper bracket game, so I hope we can see more of that in this series now.
All right, we're going to get more from all three of you in just a moment. But ladies and gentlemen, our teams are ready to enter the Rogers Arena. And the first one up is Vici. With their tournament lives on the line again. They've been here before, they know how to deal with this pressure cooker atmosphere of the International 8, and they'll be going head to head in a best of 3 against a team who have never succeeded at the International but have some international pedigree. It is Team Secret. Led by the legend himself, Puppy. It is the one and only Team Secret. They've come here every single year with high expectations. Can they turn those in to a championship run through the lower bracket? One of the many questions that we have for not just Team Secret, but all of those teams in that lower bracket right now. They'll get themselves set. We'll head towards this first game of the best of 3. With our panel members once more. Welcome back. We've got Grant, we've got Black, and we've got Gods as well. Gods, I find it incredible that a team like Team Secret do keep dropping down into the lower bracket at the International, particularly that first iteration. I think we all thought they were just going to waltz through the entire tournament. It's such a great team back then. But every iteration seems to have this issue. What is it? Is it a pattern? Is it bad luck? Is it just how the draw falls?
Oh, I don't know if there's... It's hard to really draw too many connections because each Puppy team always feels so different. Yeah. Obviously, the one common factor is Puppy. I think he's a proven fantastic captain, fantastic drafter. He can be a bit unpredictable, which is where... I don't know. I think sometimes the draft can be where the make or break point for Secret, and it has let them down from time to time.
Yeah, it has. Through the season, they've had... I would class it as a good season, Grant. They've had top 4. They've finished inside the top 4. They've looked threatening on occasion. Early on, they looked very good, actually. Early in the DPC, they've won a major, they've won a couple of minors. That would all suggest that they've got the right ingredients to deliver a championship run through this low bracket.
I mean, you'd think so, but Puppy's one of those people who goes into the year like, cool, winning Epicenter, winning DAC. If you did that, that'd be cool. But if you go into TI, if he doesn't win it, he's going to consider it a failure. And I mean, at the beginning of the season, they were just straight killing it. And the last couple tournaments they've been to has been just a little bit shaky. And you don't want to be cold right now.
What'd you put that down to?
I think they got too comfortable, right? I mean, you qualify for TI, you're one of the top 8. I mean, you get comfortable, you're like, whatever, I'm just going to cruise to TI. And I mean, you take 1 or 2 weeks off while other teams like Vici or Liquid are just playing 24/7.
Matt mentioned to me mid-season that they felt like they were a bit tired. Not burnt out, but the travel was starting to take its toll on them, and maybe they signed up for too many events in a row and what have you, and they wanted to kind of put the brakes on a little bit. Do you think that's a fair reflection on what their season did too? Do you feel like maybe some of their poorer results combined with that?
Yeah, I mean, especially early on, they flew to like every tournament available, and they qualified for every tournament as well. Especially if you fly like across the ocean, it's like 13 hours every time. You get jet lagged. and then you have to like stay in hotels all the time. You're deprived from your family. You're away all the time, and it definitely takes a toll on your mentality. And even though they did really well early on, it feels like the more events they went to, like the more they declined.
Right. Yeah, maybe there is something to. I mean, we've been on a long road, haven't we? Certainly hurt us a few times, hasn't it? We've got, God, another hotel, and I could imagine probably the same for the players as well, because they did play in an awful lot of tournaments.
You kind of have to pace yourself. A lot of teams and players would start to pull out of events throughout the season. You had VP playing with a stand-in at various times, same for Liquid when Miracle missed an event. And then the last couple majors, I mean, you hear major and you think, oh, every top team's going to be there. You had one without that secret decline. You had one that Liquid and VP declined. So it wasn't like every team wanted to play every event, even when there was $1 million in prize money for grabs.
I think you're right. I think they wanted to at the start of the season, and then when it kind of got halfway through, they were kind of like, okay, we need a break. This is too much. There's too much to do.
Yeah, you got to think of the little things too, right? Puppy is a very tall person, flying on planes, and I mean, if you just get a bad spot, right, you're not going to want him the first day of the tournament.
I like that. There's thinking practical, Grant. I like that. Let's turn our attention to Vici. Likewise, I would have to say, if we looked at it from the beginning of the season, it hasn't been a good season for them, because they looked really good in the first few tournaments, getting to finals and what have you. But actually, when you look at it in context over the whole season, it's not been a bad season at all, has it?
It hasn't been. I mean, you did, I think it was 3 second place in a row. I believe they also won DPL in China. I mean, they beat out Newbie, LGD, tournaments like that. And the thing is, it's just when you get hot and when you don't. And I think they won't be happy if they don't get top 4 here, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tier 1 organisation. They played for this organisation. They've got money, they've got backing, they're well supported in China and outside of it as well. They're not going to be happy with anything other than, let's win the tournament. That's what we want right now. We want to join the likes of IG and Newbie and Wings. It's the one that's missing, isn't it?
Yeah, in the middle of the season, they've been really good. They were ahead of everyone in the meta, except the ones they lost to, of course, in the final. But you can probably attribute it more to outplay. I thought they really figured out the metagame in the middle of the season. Yeah. Of course, there's new patches coming all the time. Some patches favor other teams more than others. And yeah, it would just be pretty sad to see them drop out this early. Yeah. But I guess you can say that about both teams.
Yeah, I think that's the disappointing thing. They're both inside the top 6 of the DPC. They're both giving us some really good memories throughout the whole of this very long season. Got to say goodbye to one of them. I don't want to do that this early.
Yeah, it feels kind of early, but that's what happens when you have some of these late newcomers like VG.JS as well as Optic OG. These guys playing well. They're still in the bracket. It's, OG's in the winner bracket. That's a team you wouldn't probably expect it to see there. So suddenly we have this, Secret versus Vici lower bracket elimination match.
Yeah, we head towards the draft, obviously, very short. You can see the players just getting ready inside the booth. And as we do that, Grant, how do you feel that Vici have moved along with the meta? Because you made the point that in the early days they seem to have figured it out. They're quite good at it. Mid-season, maybe not so much. Maybe they were relying too much on the death ball and a bit too much grouping. And towards the end of the season, it seemed like they've fallen off a little bit. It's a different meta now. So has that helped or hindered them?
I think it's definitely hindered them. I mean, we saw the bad group stage, and they're one of the few teams besides that. I mean, we just saw VJ Storm picking Underlord. And that hero, you go into the lane, you dominate, and then what do? You throw out a Pit of Malice. You don't really do anything. But then on your 4-0 LAN M, I think it's helped him greatly. His Earthshaker, any of these that lane dominate, he's played so well. And so for some of the team, it's good. For some of it, it hasn't been too good.
Yeah, okay, gents, hold on to your seats. Because it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for our final lower bracket game.
VG Gaming versus Team Secret. Game 1.
Here we go then. Okay. Game number 1, draft number 1 of this lower bracket, final lower bracket game of this particular round and of day number 3 as well. Of course, we've still got 2 more series to come. They will both be from the upper bracket a little later on. But game 1 just around the corner for these two. Grant, let's start with you. What do you want to see from Secret? What do you want to see them play?
I want to see them get something different. I want to see, obviously, 2-1-2 lanes are so pronounced now, so something like a Bounty Hunter probably won't happen, but I think you get Yaps or something insanely high moving or something. We saw the Rubik yesterday. It didn't work out, but he showed he's still one of the best 4s in the world, so I think you go something like Tusk Rubik on him. Just let him do his thing.
I like it. Black. Vici, what do you want to see from them? And you're not allowed to say anti-mage or invoker.
But Paparazzi lost both of those heroes.
And so do you.
But
that is why we banned you from ever saying the words anti-mage or invoker on a panel ever again.
All right, I will not mention those. But what I do think is Paparazzi, when they were doing really well, it has been Ori and Paparazzi really like taking off for them. And lately it hasn't really been the case. So I hope that Lanham, Fenrir, as well as Old 11 can really start making space for them again, because the two of them are really the young stars that you brought for their high skill ceiling, and you need to make use of them. We haven't really seen that work too much in the group stage, and I really think it's mostly because they don't get drafted favorable matchups most of the time.
Yeah, you saw Ori on screen there. Fascinating story behind him, of course, for those that are new to Dota 2 and just tuning in. Their manager, actually, their owner of VG Game, actually decided to buy another organisation to get his hands on him to bring him into the team.
And you can see why. He played Alina against no one, TA, who's supposed to counter Alina, and he has solo killed him twice. That guy has an insane skill potential.
I've seen a few games where 1v1 mid matchup, he would just crush it. He's actually the one, you talk about him and Paparazzi. I think he's done all right. Like, he's had those 1v1 matchups played well, but Paparazzi just feels like this dual lane versus dual lane meta, he's not getting the farm he's used to playing around.
Yeah, he's just like a hard carry, right? He's like the incarnation of a hard carry. He's like as close as you come to burning, I think, from playstyle. Like, he just likes to farm, and then he likes to join team fights as like the last person, clean up, get some of the GPM in, kind of like me.
Not his patch, maybe. I mean, you mentioned some of the patch changes have hurt VG Gaming. I think this may be one of them.
And a silencer first pick. No surprise. It's been very popular today. Not just today, but also through the tournament.
Yeah, that's one of those heroes that wasn't popular even like a month ago, right? Actually, no one was picking, and then all of a sudden you come to group stage, one team wins with it, and you're just like, oh, I guess this hero's good. Let's pick it ourselves.
When was the last time a silencer was popular? Feels like a long time ago.
Like almost never.
A couple of years ago, maybe.
It had a small period, didn't it?
There was like a couple of teams that would always pick it, but other teams would just completely ignore it. It kind of feels like a scrim meta going
Universally liked right now, as is the Chen as well. I haven't seen it too much in the main stage. Did see it a lot in the groups.
Yeah, I mean, OG first picked it twice. Yeah. So there's obviously something going on with that we don't know just yet.
I mean, Penitence, am I saying that right?
Penitence, yes.
Penitence, yeah. I mean, that ability at level 1 is like one of the best level 1 points in the game. You just throw it on anyone, right clicks, you're doing 18% more.
Is it 18?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, and then 36 on max level.
Yeah.
That is intense.
It's a very value level 1.
Yeah, it's a really intense spell.
Man, and I'm just... Yeah, you have a Chen, and then they're still thinking, like, usually you know what you're going to pick those first two, and they have the reserve time going down right now. I mean, what do you pair with the Chen? Like, I'm thinking.
Honestly, you can pair anything with the Chen, right? Because he's just so strong. He can get a creep, he can secure your safe lane, he can pressure the off lane, he can gank mid lane even. Like, with Chen, there's pretty much, like, you can pair anything with him, right?
Yeah. This is a bit different, though, because I feel like Yapso's always playing, like, the greedier supports. And I guess with a Chen, he's going to have to, give Puppy a bit more space. Most teams are playing Chen more as a 5, but Venge isn't like, the Rubik or the Shaker that Yapso are playing get a lot more farm on.
Over 160 career games, by the way, for Puppy on Chen.
Yes.
Lanham Shaker. Here we go.
I mean, he carried him multiple, like, they had few group stage wins, and when they got him, it was Lanham or Shaker. He was nuts.
And it's a soft counter to Chen as well, with all the creeps. Also, it's very good against Vengeful, because if you initiate on a guy, you can fissure the Venge, prevent him from swapping.
To be his 60th career game on the Shaker. It's his third most played hero of all time. Obviously, the one that's out front is the Rubik.
And this is a little different, right? We've been seeing mostly support and core, and now we just have both teams picking both their support straight up.
Yeah. There's
so many cores which it feels like, you can just first two pick. Like the Mirana, the Weaver, the Draw Ranger is VGJ proof. But it seems these teams would rather, wait and see.
But worst case, they still have the potential to be cores. Like the offlane Shaker. We've seen mid Shaker by VP against certain matchups. It's not completely locked in yet, but
you don't pick like Shaker and not give it to Lanham.
Yeah. That's also very true.
On the other side of it, the Venge has not been particularly successful as a core pick.
And it's not really Ace and mid one who like to play that. It's not them.
Which is odd, because before this tournament, I mean, you go and look at the pub page list. Every offlaner is playing Vengeful, and you're like, oh, we're going to see Ice Venge, we're going to see the Snaking Venge, and nope, just support.
Yeah, mid-silencer isn't a thing either, is it? No. Now, I mean,
only against certain matchups.
Yeah, 2006 best hero in Dota, yeah.
We're going to go a long way back. We're going to see some different cores, though, because that's like 7 out of 8 bans on all heroes right now.
I think that's the other thing, isn't it, Gods? When you do, if you're going to pick up supports in the early, first 4 positions, then you're going to get a lot of bans on the cores. It gives them even more to get rid of.
Might see some kind of unconventional fringe picks coming out of nowhere.
Like Necroforce.
Hey, he's banned, right? Yeah, he's
banned, sorry.
He's been not that unpopular during their group stage.
Oh, you're right. I've seen it a couple of times, like every now and then.
It's a lot. What are you on about? sarcasm. Sorry, my sarcasm button had failed. Sorry, misplaced.
There's still like a few fairly popular heroes like the Ursa still in the pool.
The PL? I think PL.
PL for VG. Very good. They banned Prophet.
I mean, you definitely don't want Prophet, right? Like with Chen, you come in with all these 3 creeps. You ban Prophet, right? Just makes a 2v2 fight a 3v2, and all of a sudden, I mean, you're behind at that point.
And of course, Chen, Prophet, Venge. Oh no, Dave, actually, never mind. Whatever it says, take it back.
They're still Drow in the pool. I'm actually surprised that makes it through, because Drow Venge with
Venge would be amazing right now for Secret, wouldn't it?
And they don't even have that much catch for it. I mean, once Earthshaker gets blinked, but that could be a long way away.
And Ace plays really good Drow, sets up mid 1 for like the last big storm, for example.
They haven't been a Drow team.
They have not.
At this event. They've only played them once, and the mid 1 played it in that game.
Oh, really?
Stage. Yeah.
Well, what did Ace play in that game?
I don't recall off the top of my head, but it was mid 1 on the Drow.
I think that mid matchup, Ori versus mid 1, I think if you're Secret, you have to give mid 1 a very good matchup, because from what I've seen, Ori is, I think, just a better player than him, honestly. He's a very good player. He's only had like 1 bad matchup for CCC.
I mean, or do you go back to the other way of thinking about it? Okay, let's sack the lane. Which hero gives us the better late game? We know you can come back. Is that not a consideration?
Actually, I think that's smart, right? You just sack Ori middle, then you get Paparazzi something like a Terrorblade, and all of a sudden, I think you could do that, but I don't know if you want mid 1 going off. And there's a lean in.
Yeah,
so it's pretty locked in mid lane already.
Yeah, that's very early because
they have 2 supports.
Yeah, not something they do an awful lot.
There's like that small chance you do the core Venge you're talking about and put Lina as a 4.
I was going to say there's that we've seen it played, not by them, but we have seen it a couple of times.
It was
just
OG
a bit awkward with
the Lina Chen.
Yeah, but it's weird with the VS core, right?
Correct.
Like
it would be weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's offlane Venge.
It could be anything, because, as we said, Secret, their strength used to be the hero pools and what they can like pull out of the hat. So maybe they'll surprise us.
Yeah, they banned Arc Warden first phase VG Gaming. That's not like a hero. You just ban.
Yeah,
he's 1 against anyone.
I mean, mid 1 and Ace play really good Arc Wardens. Although they kind of banned their own hero too, because I think Ori plays it for them. He also plays a really good Arc Warden.
Getting in on the clap block.
Yeah. Missing the Ogre pick.
Yeah, the Ogre pick was great, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We need the clap off Ogre with Shaker.
We haven't done one of those yet. We're not going to get it in this game.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, not happening in this draft.
I'm pretty sure Shaker claps faster than Ogre, though, from what I can see on the stage.
It feels like about the same style.
About the same?
Yeah, but the weird thing is, like God says, if one of them's that clap while the other one's at that point, I don't know how that's going to be awkward.
So do you just take your mid laner here if you're VG Gaming then against the lane? Or it feels like it
doesn't make any difference, does it? You don't want to leave to 5 now, do you? And get another down on it.
You may want to wait 1 more pick just because you're like they're probably questioning like, hey, wait, is Lina actually going mid? Like, it's not really a hero mid 1's known for playing that much.
It feels like a bait. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
It feels like a bait. Secret has to have something up their sleeve here.
This must have been expected.
This feels like a puppy bait.
And it's something like Lina's a support and Venge is in the off lane and some other TA counter goes mid.
It's very hard to draft like this. Like if they keep drafting like this, VG can literally counter you 1 by 1, and that's when like first pick becomes so strong, and they need to mix something up for sure. Unless mid 1 pulls an Ori and just solo kills the Ti8 twice.
Could happen.
Might as well, yeah.
Let's just do it.
If I was played more of those kind of scaling cores,
the Venom mindset.
It's just going to be just straight up Venom mid. Even if it's not Venom mid, it's still a good counter for TA, but
TA hates playing against Venom in all stages of the game. So does Shaker and Silencer, honestly.
Yep.
Like, Venom is a really good picker. Could go off lane, could go safe, and could go mid lane. Very flexible.
And that's why I felt VG should wait another pick to take the TA, because you get a better idea of what's coming your way. Secret aren't going to take the TA. There's no like rush to pick it.
Yeah. These are all heroes, by the way, which they either haven't played at all at Ti8 or have played very little of. They've only played 2 games of the Chen in the group stage. They only played a couple of games on the Venge as well. Both of those on Puppy, by the way. None on Lena and none on Venno. Where has this come from?
Well, Venno's got the highest win rate of any hero.
He does.
Played more than 5 times.
Yeah.
I think he's like 7-1 or 8-1.
Maybe around
Won a
there.
game just now today, so even better.
I mean, you just see other people play the Venom Meta. They've played it in the past, during the DPC season, and they just remember it as a very good hero.
That's right now.
Venno historically is very good against
Venno
Batrider
owns
too.
all 3, Earthshaker, T8, and Batrider, right? Like, Venno can just get vision on everyone.
Just disable the blink daggers, even the silencer. You get hit by that thing once, you're half health.
Had a couple of 11 games during the group stage on that Batrider.
And this is
both won.
But what I expected was more like an Underlord kind of hero for VG.
That's what I thought.
Like a tanky thing with the aura items.
Yeah.
Like now you have 0 pipe builders. Maybe the silencer can get into one, but he doesn't really get farm. It's a bit scary.
It looks like VG Gaming just wants to do this. They're going to pick, I think, a pretty aggressive core, and they're just going to want like TA to farm for the first 15 minutes. They're going to try to like 4-on-5 and just. I think they want to snowball this game super hard now.
I mean, they have to.
Yeah. Pushing uphill into a Chen and Venno, not fun.
There's probably going to be offlane Venge and a support Lina, I'd assume. The Absol Lina. Gives him more of the flashy potential that we spoke about.
Yeah. What rounds that out then? What do they not have right now?
A mid one something.
They have reasonable damage.
You don't think mid one will play the Venno mid?
Or it might be a Venno, yeah.
I think it's Venno mid if it's TA mid.
Sometimes they swap lanes depending on the heroes. But
yeah, they do.
Not often.
What are they missing in the composition-wise? What are they missing? What do they need?
I mean, you definitely need physical damage. Unless Lena, for some reason, is played by Ace, you have to have physical damage, which could be something. I think PL's still decent, even though it's like Earthshaker. I mean,
PL won against Shaker this tournament already, actually.
What about push?
Venno Chen is like, it's okay enough.
Yeah, Venno Chen VS is quite good.
Grab ban, actually. That would have been
a draw range.
Yeah. I thought they were going to get that 3rd or 4th initially.
Okay, well, they're not going to get it last.
VG is going for Paparazzi.
Is there a killer final pick?
Life Stealer.
I mean, their final pick is going to depend a lot on the paparazzi hero. Like, they're going to probably look like, if he picks like a Luna, you're going to pick a TB kind
you
of thing.
don't think they've pre-planned and they've got them into a position where they're thinking, yeah, we know what we're going to pick already?
Probably 2 or 3 off.
Like a breeder, something like that at the end. The Terrorblade is what I thought they would come back with. We said that earlier, Grant, you picked it out. Yeah.
They go for the TB. TB is quite hard to get through against the Chen aggro lane, though. If there's like a Chen Venge, you're going to feel very miserable as a Terrorblade.
Yeah. Does that dissuade Secrets from going down the Brood route?
Not really. TB's not the best against Brood, but of course if you reach the mid-late game, you have no chance.
10 seconds
so we'll see what kind of approach they'll take, whether they go for like a more hard carry, like a PL. PL is really strong against TB now, and because of the reflection change.
Yep. I think PL's the best pick, yeah.
Yeah, PL is really good.
They could go for like a straight hard time on TB like the Tinker too if they want to put Venno back in the safe lane.
Yeah.
You want legendaries? There's one for you. Played 86 times by mid-1 in the past. And picked as their 5th and final pick of this game. I'm not sure what we make of that one. But the draft is complete, which means we need some wise words from a wise man. And luckily we have one of those right beside us.
Great. Hello.
Well, I've got this side, but yeah, you, buddy. It's you.
Oh, so this game, I'm with lane against it so far on the side of Team Secret. This hero wins the lane by sticky napalming you and having kill threat. And what I see in Team Secret's draft is I don't know what hero's meant to occupy that lane. Who can lane against this Batrider? He has the Earthshaker to protect him from kills. So I feel like this Batrider is going to apply a ton of pressure. They don't have the best way to deal with terrible.
You know, if VSJ doesn't know, can anyone know?
Yeah. You? I'm confused too, I'll be honest. This was not what I was expecting out of Team Secret when you saw the opening to the draft, especially into the second phase with the third pick Lina. Yeah. I was thinking, okay, this is a deny pick against Ori. I'm not sure if who really got gamed by who in this until we truly see the lanes unfold. I do, however, feel like Secret do have one hero that can lane against the bad rider. I think it's an okay lane match for Venomancer, actually, if you do play the lane correctly. So
it's funny though, because you see the Venomancer and you're like, well, this would be really great against the Templar Assassin. Like, you shove him into this lane. For a moment, I was even thinking that Ace would find his way into a Vengeful Spirit because this draft was going so crazy. But it is Ace actually on the Venomancer, and we're looking at a 3-position Lina heading towards that off lane right now.
That is very unusual indeed. I think what obviously what VG Gaming are expecting when this Venomancer pick comes out is that, okay, Secret will want to put this hero mid against the Templar Assassin, but now that the draft is completed, you look at VG's lineup and they're thinking, okay, there's absolutely nobody who can stand against Bat Rider except Veno. So I think Ori is pretty happy with this. Traditionally, this Ember versus TA matchup, I would say, is a very skill-based one, where both heroes can win. I think it is still the case, and based on what we've seen previously in this tournament, Ori has been sick in laning. He's been really, really good. So definitely one to watch out for to see if mid one can keep up the pace on, in my opinion, his absolutely best hero.
Yeah, and that's the critical thing, right? You got mid one on a very big comfort hero pickup. He's played this hero so many times that watching this mid lane, like, throughout this entire tournament, we've been watching more side lane than we've been watching mid lane, because it's just been this very standard, okay, we kind of know what's going to happen. Eventually someone will go for a really cool play. But this, just the whole way of play, so you can re-watch this game back and just only watch mid lane and it'll still be as entertaining as what we're going to see now.
I think part of, when you look at the bigger picture of this game, I think part of the reason that BSJ and the panel seem a little bit confused with Secret's draft is that you look at it and you don't necessarily feel like all the heroes come together in a natural way after, like, they have a really strong early stage, but how do you end the game? I think your sieging tools in this case, by putting the Venge on that position 4 instead of a core role, the only guy who seems to really be able to hit towers effectively will be that Lina, but it's a position 3.
Did you just say Yapzor is not on a core role? I don't understand this.
That's a fair point.
Well, they're going to try and fight up on top lane, start with Dragon Slave, and then the Penitence comes after. Poppy has that early Blightstone, so that's -2 armor on Fenrir. He does not feel very comfortable in this lane as a silencer, but they want the early harassment. They want to keep the heroes off the lane, but Paparazzi, he already TP'd over to the tier 1 tower, so he jumped over the Team Secret interference.
And similarly, Puppy immediately TPing bottom on that Chen. So we said Venomancer can lane against Batrider, which is the case. Oh, nice fissure coming out from Lanham, actually. But he'll obviously go.
Penitence as well as Gale, however. Batrider's going to be not too happy with this, but Ace has 5 sticky napalm stacks on him, and there's no stick charges yet on either of the heroes on the lane against the Batrider. Essential they're able to push out and get towards the side shot.
And it makes such a big difference for this kind of lane matchup. Like, Venomancer can hold its own against Batrider by landing Gale, but you throw a Shaker into the mix that blocks you off entirely, and then it doesn't even matter, actually, that you slow down this Batrider that much. So Puppy probably feels like, I have to come and support my safe laner straight away, because the difference between a 2v2 and a 2v1 in this lane is absolutely massive.
And all the stuns up on top, they're trying to do a lot of damage, and they've got a lot of it. Paparazzi! Popped off by Fada. Yapzor able to keep the control there just long enough. Most of it was magical, but the physical got through thanks to negative armor.
Yeah, that's one of the great benefits of this lane, is the amount of magic burst they have against Terrorblade.
Yeah, okay, he's salving up. If Lanham actually sees this, all he wants to do is cancel the salve. This is going to hurt mid one. He'll have to burn that last shed Tango.
I'm sending out another flask immediately to help him in mid. But yeah, this top lane, Paparazzi's got to be careful. The amount of magic burst, especially when Lina hits level 3, I imagine we will still see a 1-1-1 build come out from Fata, but you need to play defensively in this lane as Terrorblade if you're down to like 2/3 health. Your max health is 500. These magic damage nukes, they are a problem.
Puppy's being an absolute nuisance. How many times have we seen him play as Chen? And it used to be the Harpy Stormcaller that was the real courier sniper, the hero killer in mid lane. This time around, he's running around with the side of Banisher.
Yep, he can purge off the sticky napalm stacks. So makes Ace extra safe in lane. It also gives them an additional slow, as if they were lacking that with the 2 they already have, but you never know.
I think Penitence Gale as well as Sting is more than enough to make it difficult for a Batrider.
It is a bit of a defensive approach, though. I think they can actually kill in this lane if Puppy gets a stronger creep, but since he hasn't had access to his hard camp yet by Lanham's Sentry, Puppy's a bit limited in options and will just resort to pulling. You know, sometimes, if you just think about it theoretically, you're like, Chen should never pull, right? This has got to be super ineffective. You have a hero that can jungle, you have a hero that can roam and pressure multiple lanes or just be dominant in lane, but sometimes a bad choice is the best one. Like, what options does he really have right now? He has to be close by to his Veno, his big camp is blocked, And he knows that if he leaves him, Ace will just get dove in the tower.
Oh, Fissure on bottom lane. Puppy getting blocked in. 11's going to take to the skies with a Firefly, but it's so much slow. Ace hasn't even let off the Gale. It's just 11 having a real difficult time keeping up. They've got the sticky napalms. This may allow Lanham to potentially finish the job. He's got Totem available. 11 begins his TP out. They had the creep wave with him, so both 11 and Lanham both TP away. 11 doesn't go all the way back. Meanwhile, Magic Missile up on top. Yapsaw going again. The real core chasing after Fenrir. He's got 3 stick charges, however, so Fenrir should be able to survive this with the support from his creep wave arriving.
Yapsaw with a big movement speed advantage there. Almost ran him down. I think if he had committed there, this could have maybe been a kill, but risk reward. He probably didn't like it that much in that situation. Still, he forces Fenrir to walk all the way back to base, so definitely a victory there for Yapsaw. And we wanted to keep a little bit of an eye on mid lane. Ori is in the lead as expected, but he's doing pretty okay.
Yeah, it's not a bad lane for him. Obviously, with Refraction having that bonus damage, you should see a lot more CS coming into the Templar Assassin. But the fact that mid one's able to dodge any kind of harassment, there's 2 points in the side blades from Ori. This is what's really going to start to hurt him.
I love this ward from Lanham that he just placed. This is an anticipation that Chen will ultimately give up on playing in that bottom lane.
The courier flies right over the top, and it's the cool one too. The Danny Dem created dragon. I love it.
He's anticipating that Chen will give up on playing in the bottom area and start.
He actually came back for Yapsaw. He's going to smoke up and go for the courier, and with the totem stun, he actually had it. Yapsaw came in too late.
He specifically needed to have this double damage and enchant totem, or that courier doesn't die. So a fortunate sequence of events for Lanham, but it takes full advantage of it.
Try to take the mid with the magic missile out. There's no way for terror available. Mid one's real low. Ori with that very fire. He has the life. Mid one to barely survive. Did not take the tower aggro, but Lanham killing couriers. Mid one denies himself to the tower. Ori actually gets awarded the kill, however.
And Lanham gets the AoE experience, so didn't really get too much out of that on the Ember. But at the very least, they got the first kill. So, top lane Fata.
Yeah, Fenrir, he knows he can now start pressuring this. With the heavy rotations of Yapsaw, Puppy unable to leave the bottom lane, this is when VG Gaming can just make more space for Paparazzi. The panel were talking about just how strong this Terrorblade is going to be. I'm wondering if they can actually deal with him, if they give him a good start. Bottom lane, yeah, 11 will be able to get out to safety. There are no stuns available, but Catapult's being stolen. Mid lane, Fissure out from Lanham's, keeping mid one in, but not totally. There's a small gap in the wall.
Yeah, I like this play from Puppy a lot. He forces the Batrider out on the siege creep wave so that they can get a double siege into this tower. And 11, TPing all the way back to base, is still not in reach of this tower defense just yet. And there's an extra wave coming in. Ace, no Aquila on him, unfortunately, for this push. That AoE armor would have been really useful right now.
Lanham scattered out by the side of Banisher. He's ready to throw out a Fissure, making sure he's always got mana with the Soul Ring available, but here comes 11 into the Firefly. 4 sticky napalm charges on the Venomancer at the moment. No Plague Ward slowing him down. In fact, Puppy just sends him back, so they turn their attention over towards the Chen. Gale is on to 11. Finally, the send back goes through as Puppy brings in more support. I don't know exactly how he's meant to get out of this one. This is a real sticky situation as Puppy is finally brought down by Lanham, not the master of sticky 11.
Look at Lanham's skill though. I don't remember the last time I saw this from a support shaker.
A 1-2-1?
Yeah, most of the time you max Fissure, or sometimes you do max the Aftershock or get something like a 2-1-2 build, but he's gone for 2 in the heavy hitting Enchant Totem. Very unusual. Fenrir is toast.
Yeah, maybe not. Stick charge is available and raindrops will give the extra protection. Yapsaw, one more hit will do it. Does not have to commit the magic missile. But Fata is kind of hurting. He had to cast multiple abilities while the curse was on him. So stick charges will allow him to survive just long enough to then pop the salve.
Drops his Aquila for the maximum efficiency on that salve, and he's going to head back up. But considering how they got the first blood on Paparazzi and how strong their lane is in terms of magic damage output, I think Paparazzi is actually doing a really good job having these 40 CS right now. Definitely not looking too shabby for Vici's cores, and you have to look forward in this game and think, if Ember does not get really strong, they don't have the best tools of dealing with this Terrorblade. Lina can be okay, but the other heroes on Secret, in my opinion, are pretty bad matchups against Terrorblade in the later portions of the game. So very, very crucial for them that they do get their farm going. And mid one is falling behind heavily in mid now. Yeah, 44 and 19.
VG want to put him down a little bit further. That's why the ES is hovering around This would be a nice thing for mid one to grab, but unfortunately he's got no sleight of fist, and Lanham will just walk in, steal the illusion rune, and deny mid one the extra bottle charges. That's the sustain he wants to have in the mid lane to be aggressive against the T8.
Speaking of aggression bottom lane, Puppy gets the slow out. They don't really have any follow-up here.
Well, they got Yapso nearby, but he's not close enough for the magic missile. You know Lanham. Well, this time his wall is secure.
They're committing a lot to protecting their safe lane. I feel like this is not very effective, what Team Secret is doing right now. Ideally, you don't want to be this static with a Chen, I would say. It's been 8.5 minutes. Has Puppy moved from bottom?
He has not.
I don't recall seeing him make
the closest he moved out was to the bounty rune on the dire side on bottom lane. That's it.
And generally what you do with Chen is that you support someone to win the lane, but he has basically supported the Veno to draw the lane. So this big early pressure that Chen can often put hasn't really been used very much this game. They haven't ganked Ori. Now they're finally going to take the tower, so this will be good for them.
Maybe that's the objective then we have to start thinking about from Team Secret. Like, Ace is leveling up the Plague Wards a lot more now. They just want to start taking out Tier 1 towers, almost playing it like a Drow game, just minus the Drow because it was 5th band.
Well, you still got this feeling that it's going to be really difficult for them to get that mid tower, though. And that's the big one for Secret to claim in this game. They want to limit that space. As for now, though, they're going to continue down here bottom. This is quite the push.
Yeah, they need to finish this tower, not have it...
There's no way they get this right.
Actually, yeah, 11's still there for defense. I want to watch top lane. Fada's actually up in the tree lines. He's been waiting for the perfect Laguna Blade into Paparazzi, but he won't have it. Fisher, Lanham rotates better, and Team Secret, they just don't bring in the answers quick enough. Yaps has already TP'd up, so is mid one. Paparazzi's low. He actually finds the kill, Fada, before his own death. This will allow mid one to move in forward. He'll have to use a spiritual jump. Still no sleight of fist ability leveled up, but that won't matter when Fenrir is searing chained under the tier 1 tower. 2 huge kills.
I'm sure Fada will take that.
Yeah.
I mean, he did lose 2 in, but he's got plenty where that came from still on the Lina.
He's been planning that for a while, and if he keeps Paparazzi at least a little bit lower, is slowing the difference between the Venomancer as well as the Terrorblade, because it was going over 1,000 gold in net worth.
I think Paparazzi needs to play Strength Treads and get a raindrop, so he doesn't die to this Lina
Good
combo.
Gale in mid. Ori just can't run it out, but Lanham even better. Always there as the babysitter. The old school way to play in ES, but still very effective.
The downside to this build is obviously how long it generally takes to get the Blink Dagger. If he's playing defensively and not too involved in kills. He's been pretty good, though. He got a courier kill, which was even a flying courier, so he got a lot of experience from that, too.
He's got a very sustainable build. This Tranquil Soul Ring, no arcane boots for this ES.
2 siege creeps again. VG Gaming are definitely going to look to defend this tower.
Yeah, but do they have the power for it? They don't seem to have the armor for it, and Lanham's got nowhere to jump. Fenrir does have Global Silence available, but the Terrorblade has got Metamorphosis on cooldown for another 80 seconds. It doesn't look like they're strong enough to take a fight.
I don't think Secret's heroes can keep tanking the tower for their siege creeps now, and there goes the first one. The first one will fall now to 1 tower attack here. Actually, never mind. It did redirect to Ace. So
bottom lane, mid one going in after Arya. They just battle it out. Yapsol will arrive. Lands the stun just in the nick of time. Now the mid lane, attempted denial from Fenrir, won't connect. Ace is low, but he's already been sent back by Puppy.
I'm very surprised Vici didn't try to defend that tower. I don't think it was going to take much more than what they had. They had their 2 supports in there, just needed 1 core to show up, put a little bit of pressure on Secret's heroes so they have to back out, and then those siege creeps will die when the heroes aren't tanking the tower for them. But
they didn't want to sacrifice it. No Metamorphosis up, and the Blink Dagger was still being worked on by 11.
Yeah, they definitely hit a timing now, but that's a pretty big price to pay. And in addition to it, they lost their TA at bottom, so that was kind of... It's not disaster territory, but it was definitely not on the good side from Vici for that last minute.
They're also TPing over. I don't know if they're all on the same page. I think it was actually the Terrorblade who was TPing up to the shrine next to Lanham, and he has a smoke ready to go, but they cancelled the TP, and Paparazzi stays to push in the bottom lane.
Looking, I'm keeping my eyes a little bit on mid one here because I'm very curious how he chooses to item build in this game. So he's going for his classic first item Boots of Travel build. I think this is the kind of game where you play the Spell Ember. Even though it can be tempting to play physical cleave against the Terrorblade, I think you're better off just focusing on that magic damage and hoping that the Vengeful and Lina can get the job done in the physical compartment. I'm not sure if Ember can go for something like the Battle Fury build up here. I think it's too slow and too greedy when you're playing against a lineup that has both the TA and the Terrorblade. You want to play faster. And you see Secret, they're trying to play fast. They're going for the next tower. They are paying their bottom tower as a price, though. Paparazzi will claim that.
Well, there's your Blink Lasso, but the stun's already out. You have Global Silence stopping any instant follow-up onto 11, but the silence wears off. And Yamsaw able to secure the kill, and then looking for more. The Penitent Man, Fenrir on the run. The TA trap will create a little bit more space.
That was uncharacteristically uncoordinated from VG Gaming. You want a global straight away when that Bat Rider jumps in for the lasso, but getting that stun out is enough.
Maybe they're feeling a little shaken.
Yeah.
Team Secret scanned the top lane before when VG with 3-man smoked up looking for the kill. They got pinged and Secret just kept them waiting there on the top lane for a good minute.
I think, so the weirdest thing about this in a way is that this is the tower they try to defend. Because this one is really hard to hold, whereas the mid one would have been a lot easier. And now that they lost the mid tower, they probably just, 11 just wants to use his Blink Dagger. But that fight was difficult to take. Even if they land the global, that could have still gone wrong. Well, Secret are happy to take it.
Yeah, 14 minutes in, they've taken all the Tier 1 towers down, and now they look towards Roshan with no frontal position apart from that shrine. For VG Gaming to use, Team Secret feel confident, and they've even got almost all 5 players inside the pit.
This is not good.
But here comes the Firefly 11. He sees what's going on. No lasso available, but starts with a sticky napalm. Light Strike Array. Need to get 8 out of there right now. Too many sticky napalm charges up. Paparazzi's taking the tier 2 tower in the bottom lane. In the meantime, Fada looking for the Light Strike Array, but Paparazzi has already backed off, so he can kill off the illusions. Lanham, however, he's in a little bit more trouble. Mid one wants to play around him. He will take the stun. Sleight of Fist dodges the Fisher. The Puppy there to help out. In fact, there to take the kill.
And laugh at it. Very fitting. So they do get this Lanham killed, but I would say VG Gaming are being more effective with the map. So Secret are making a lot of these 4-5-man rotations. They got a couple of towers, but this Roshan kill, for example, that kill failing. Oh, hang on.
Yeah, they're going again. They're after 11, maybe with that side blade attack. With the meld on to Yapsaw. Puppy thought it was dangerous. That's why he's sending Yapsaw back, but Ace continues to have to tank these psionic traps.
You got to be careful when you're playing a lineup like this of Secrets. A classic trap to fall into is just, we're strong at 5 men and let's just go together and take towers. But you still got to be effective on the map. The Terrorblade has played uncontested at bottom for quite a while. He almost managed to grab that bottom tier 2 tower before Fasa rotated in. So you're moving as a group of 4 or 5, whereas the enemy team is like semi-defending with 2 and farming with 3 cores at the same time. And your map efficiency you look at the experience, it does tell a story. If Secret are not getting these, like you look at the gold, right? They have a marginal lead, but they've also taken 2 additional towers compared to the dire side. So just in raw farm on the map, VG Gaming are getting more out.
Bottom lane hits the combination, and he's almost got enough damage to kill off Terrorblade. Wanted to back off just in case of Sunder, but even with the extra amplification.
Very close from Fata with that Aether Lens. Got the range on the stun. He will TP.
Just before. Blink Dagger was on cooldown. That's what got him so close.
And now we kind of have this mirror where it's the VG Gaming side that we're moving around with a lot of heroes trying to assist Paparazzi on the right side. They don't find anything, and Secret are now pushing out both top and mid. And this game will be a lot about this because VG Gaming's timing hasn't really kicked in yet. They want this Deso and maybe even a BKB on Ori. They want Terrorblade to get his BKB and perhaps even a secondary damage item before they truly want to fight. And this is my concern for Secret. Are they getting enough done? When these BKBs come out, what do they have? Where's their damage going to come from? And I'm saying that even if the Ember went a physical build, I still think they would have the same problem at this timing. So you've got to try to get something done. But
things are coming out.
VG
Gaming knows something is up. They're going to blink lasso. They do find Fada. There's your global silence. No follow-up, and Fada's instantly dead. Buyback is available for him as now VG Gaming want to back up with the Searing Chains. Control 11, the Fidget from Lanham. Buys more space, but not enough for the Bat Rider. So buyback was committed from Fada. His TP was on cooldown. There's enough to intimidate VG Gaming enough that they're starting to back up, but remember, Roshan is still on the plate.
Secret want to get this now. There's no global silence. There's no lasso. So this Fata buyback, for that to be worth it, they want to claim an objective or at least get a good fight. The fight seems hard. Puppy is actually
how do
almost
they
dead.
play the different the positioning?
He could have died.
Yeah, Puppy's backed out. He's got a hand of God of Valble. He's lending the medallion for the moment. Mid one will now come in. 4 players inside the pit. ES has no delivery system to get his Echo Slam in there. He doesn't even really have the mana for it, so they're letting it go. And the trade-off will be the tier 2 tower on bottom lane. I feel like we've gone back in meta. This is your old Classico trade-off.
Yep. I like this call from VG to not take this fight. I think they used what they had. They got a Lina buyback out of it. They go and grab something else on the map, and they play the time. And now Secret with this Aegis in hand, I'm just really curious to see what they're going to aim for here. If they want to try to fight this, which tower is their target. You see this very big emphasis on the early game. Yapsor grabbing that early Vlads. Mid one is going for a build that truly does not scale very well. He's going for the first item, Halberd, on his Ember. So not a farming item for that hero, not a damage item, just control for TA.
They found a target to Svenra. He was on a warding mission with an Observer and Sentry.
Mission failed.
And now Yapsor,
we'll get it next time.
Uncharacteristically holding the walls, but top lane! The Echo Slam! Lanham has been waiting a while, and the reveal of the Blink Dagger comes to fruition.
Yep. If you only have one death at this point in time and there hasn't been too much fighting, too many kills, slowly but steadily, he's been farming a little bit. 41 CS, they grabbed a couple of towers, and there you go. It is a sub-20 Blink Dagger, and that's totally fine. In previous patches, when the bounty runes were better and gave gold to only one hero, this would have been a bad timing for Shaker, but this is definitely a respectable timing for Lanham this game. And now first BKB is already out, as well as the Deso for Ori. So big spike now for Vici Gaming. I imagine they still don't necessarily want to just run at Secret and take the fight. I think they want to play it a little more defensively, focus on pushing out the waves, building up.
Well, Team Secret are going to run at them, a 5-man smoke up inside their own jungle. They were well away from any vision. In fact, VG Gaming, that's their biggest problem at the moment. They have no vision of really anything, and they're going to still smoke up themselves under their own Observer and Sentry. Scans from both sides, and they're both on the complete opposite sides of the map, looking the wrong way.
Well,
so no one will hit anyone.
I think VG Gaming will hit a tower.
Yeah, tier 1 tower on top lane can be taken. It would take a lot to get through it. They put a new Observer ward down, and you've seen Team Secret doing the same type of thing on bottom lane. They're both trying to get deeper Observer wards on the off lane.
So they trade bounty runes 2 for 2, but VG Gaming do start getting some structural damage in now with the Terrorblade. You see the defensive ping coming out from Fata.
Yep.
Don't think Secret want to try to defend this tower, however. They're not really in a position to do so. They're going to try to trade off, get as much in the other lanes as they can, but look at their positioning in the mid lane. They're not playing very fast, playing very defensive with multiple heroes, and this push is not that quick.
It's a tier 2 for tier 2 tower trade, though. That's why Fada's on bottom lane, and also why that push in mid is taking a little bit longer. But this is the advantage of pushing with a Venomancer. You've already got this pre-established position. Fada's taking the bottom tower, now rotates in towards the mid, so this will be a tier 2 tower trade-off, 2 for Team Secret, and potentially just the top one as well, but with the steering change, and the double line strike right from Fada. Fidget creates a little bit of space for Fada, sitting on the back. The global silence is being popped up. Puppy so low. It was actually Ori jumping into the back lines. Ace very defensively pops off the Nova, but he really had no one to find. Ori's having a field day. And Team Secret, they don't know where their front line is.
Really important global from Fenrir. They managed to, I think Fenrir maybe used it a little bit too late, but what they wanted to get out of it was to bait Secret into an uncomfortable position. They were in so deep committed for that kill. And they get a 2-for-1 trade, and this is them fighting into a team that has Aegis, so the timer just slowly running out on Fata's Aegis the Immortal. He has how long left? About a minute and a bit?
Yeah, a minute and a half.
Minute and 20. And you just got this feeling that this Aegis is going to expire. It's difficult for Secret to find the opening.
But Team Secret still are taking a lot of map control. I say that as a positive. It's actually only one tier 2 tower, the difference between them. And that top tier 2 tower has 2 HP. I don't even know how that thing is standing. It's got structural problems.
If Paparazzi realizes, he can just send over an illusion to hit it once and grab that gold first team.
Yeah, if he realizes.
There is also the mid tier 1 that Secret have managed to defend, so that is a big objective for VG Gaming to get. I don't think they're ready for it just yet, though. Just keep the farm coming. They're getting super rich on their 2 cores. And, mid 1.
Yeah, top lane gets steering chains off. Fissure will be able to land the stun, but Ember Spirit feeling confident. Actually having the Heaven's Halberd already done makes it difficult for Ori to attack once this is on him, obviously.
and Secret, I'm sure they want to try to hit high ground, but they just can't.
They're creep skipping top.
VG are doing such a good job of just pushing out waves and avoiding engagements that are unfavorable.
Are they going to finally take this top tower too and realize, oh, one creep can hit this thing in the tier 2 tower? Fortification! Tower survives!
This is a bit dangerous. His Aegis is out now. No? Wait, not now. No, it's out. All right, he got the deny.
Yeah, he denied the tower. Paparazzi's forcing in the bottom lane. He had help from the Batrider. As Team Secret had just camped up inside the Dire jungle, they're waiting for someone to come closer.
Ori is not going to oblige. Almost did. So what new items do we have coming out for Secret? So mid one finished that halberd. He's going for a Manta style next, so still not too much in the way of damage. Fata rushing a Linken's against Batrider. Aghanim's on the way for Vengeful Spirit. Ace, very tank-oriented build.
They're going to find their target. Ori, Searing chained up. Winstrike ready to follow up, and they just drop the nukes. Knowing that the refraction is down, Laguna Blade 100% hits, but bottom lane is still pushing in. It doesn't have the extra nudge. 11's actually inside the jungle, and they're going to TP back right now.
I think Secret want to try to hit high ground. They want to force this buyback. They have to be wary of the last one to global, though. It is still a threat.
That's why they nudge, but then again, Winstrike array onto the real Terrorblade. They know he's real. Yapso lands his stun, and then swaps in Paparazzi. A quick Sunder as well as BKB. Global Silence is pulled, and then with the lasso, they're pulling Ace in. They want this fight. Echo Center from line. They're going to control him. Don't let him get the nerve rock, and they're able to do so. Side of Fist, Searing Chains. Now Lanham can't escape with a triple Spirit Camilla from mid one. He'll get the follow-up kill. And VG Gaming, they've burned every big ability they've had. And Team Secret, yeah, you lost your Venomancer. And you had a big Spirit Committal, but they still feel like they can go in.
Yep.
Or maybe not.
But once again, the problem. Who is going to break the tower? The one hero you have that deals good damage to the tower right now is the Lina, but Lina has nothing in the way of defense. So she's a very easy hero to harass away.
But Lincoln's coming on the courier now.
Yeah, it's going to help a bit, for sure. That's still so far so good for Secret in that moment, to be honest. They forced out the global, they forced out the Metamorphosis and the Echo Slam, and all they lost was the Venom. So not too bad for them. They will now retreat to push out their waves once again, and we're going to stabilize toward the 25-minute bounty room.
They found the Batrider. He's going after the Illusion Rune. Quick blink away from 11, but the Lightstrike array and the swap. The Sun connected before the swap came out.
Nice.
So even once he arrived in the river, still stunned up, Ace wants to keep a chase going onto VG, but it will not work. Reflection came down, and then he was basically hitting himself. Fada misses the Lightstrike array. Paparazzi does not want to burn this BKB. It's already down to 8 seconds, but the penitence is on him, and the Wave of Terror. Negative armor. Sunder is available. Does he have the time to get it off? He's got a target, and he's looking for someone around the corner, but no! He gets it on the final Lincoln Sphere! He doesn't get any life back! So mid-one is all over him! They're moving the attention over towards Ori. Mid-one up and towards the trees. He knows it's low, but then you actually get the side blade hit. Yapsa will bring Ori down, but the cost is high. The cost is the Ember.
You have so many targets, and you're under the Lincoln. That's unfortunate. It's very clear he doesn't see it, right? He didn't know.
No, it was
fresh
item off the press.
That's one of those surprise moments that can make a big difference. Unfortunately for Secret, though, losing mid-1 there makes it pretty much just an even trade, not the greatest win. They did get 2 cores for the price of 1 and the Chen, so still, actually, I am saying it's a minor win. It's actually a relatively big one.
We get to take that back. We get to watch his shame again, and you wonder how much vision did he have. They're all like, okay, guys, he's going to Sunder, get away from everything he sees, but you've got the tower, and it's just brutal to watch.
How different that could have been if he Sundered Yapsor there. That would have been a totally different story, but yeah, okay. It's, with the Ori death, I think Secret are still relatively happy, but it's not a game-changing moment as it could have been. They gain a little bit of gold over VG Gaming with the added Batrider kill from earlier.
Everyone's still building in towards these bigger items. Like Landham's even looking at an Aghanim Scepter, and he's not looking too far. It's 1,200 gold before he'll have it done. You got Blink and Force Staff now on the Batrider, so jump at initiation and drag back distance, getting even better for him. And you got a Manta style very close for Paparazzi, couple of 100 gold. So a lot of almost completed items being there, and the 10-second BKB on Ori. All of this can now be used because Roshan will spawn up in 25 seconds.
The big concern I have for Secret going forward in this game now is that they don't have any solutions to global silence yet. All of their heroes will be fully affected. They have no Dispel, no Yules, no Lotus, no Manta just yet. Mid-1 obviously on the way to his, but if Vici get the jump, they just get a kill. Secret have no way of protecting the hero that gets jumped, except that Lincoln Sphere from Fatsa. So if they find mid 1 Zember and bring him down, the fight is already extremely favored for VG Gaming.
Here comes the push in towards mid. 11's doing the wrap around as the Batrider looking for his target. They break the link of field with the 4-star, and that allows them to push him back out. Global Sales, no way for Team Secret to really respond to this. Poppy needs to burn that hand. It got just second round now, but Ember Spirit, a huge deep dive in. Ace is barely alive, but Poppy will get him back out to safety. But it's VG Gaming on the rampage, but for how long? Slider fist from mid 1. He just keeps going to work, but another fantastic thunder here from Paparazzi. Steals alive and takes it from Poppy.
And it looks so easy for VG Gaming when they get the jump. Secret without solutions.
And now they're Roshan too.
Yep, they even found Fata in this instance. They managed to break the Linkens with the 4-staff from 11, and then he gets the lasso off, and Secret just without options, really. They even had a little bit of miscommunication where Venge, Yapsar swaps out the Veno as he uses the Poison Novus.
Mid 1.
Nobody either.
Roshan's pretty low. He's coming over. Puts Defensive Spirit in. There's your Gale. Slider Fist Searing Chains would like a kill. Ori's blinking himself away. Urshik is having a harder time getting out of here. And Lanham, yeah, he's in trouble. Slider Fist from mid-1 will get it. A double kill. Fenrir and Lanham falling. A quick 4-stop. But Paparazzi, he's clipped. He's got the cheese available. Mid-1 doesn't see him. The Slider Fist was barely off target. Paparazzi, stay still. Stay a tree.
Or just TP away.
Or TP away, that'll also work. This isn't the Rubik, this isn't the video contest. Oh my god, another target. Top lane, Batrider will get himself out to safety. As Fighter looks for his own target in middle lane, Ori's hovering around, but that's the Aegis he more to know on the TA.
Yep, great hero to have the Aegis on. One of the better Aegis heroes in the game just because of the low cooldown of refraction. You will often have a fresh refraction when you come out of the Aegis. You're not a transformation-based hero like the Terrorblade, so second life is very useful.
So here's that attempt to grab VG Gaming kills on the way out. Attempt working quite nicely for mid-1. Making this hero work. Understand why they'd still draft at 5th pickup.
If he could have grabbed that Paparazzi kill, this would have been really nice for him, but
so close.
Just doesn't manage to get him there. And VG Gaming still just in a comfortable position. 30-minute boundary rune's about to come out. Looks like it will be a 2-for-2 trade. Secret is sitting heavily on the top half of the map.
Yeah, there was almost a gank on the bottom lane. You saw Ori as well as 11 preparing themselves for the fight. But Spirit jump up. Mid-1 saw him on the way out. Even pinged him because he went over the top of him. But the Plague was being farmed up. Paparazzi just walks in, turns on the reflection onto Ace. Makes a couple of extra copies.
He knows the only way that he dies is if he gets chain stunned by Venge and Lena, since he has BKB and Cheese and the Sunder. So he can frontline for his team. They even have the failsafe in the Global Silence. Manta now used by mid-1 to push, so he won't have it defensively.
11 has an Invis rune. There's no sentry wards currently down for Team Secret. And they're looking Penitence on the Paparazzi. Swap Mac in. There's Global Silence. And Noel, that's the Sunder right on top of Yab, so he loses his life. 11, Blink Dagger staying on cooldowns. The Poison Signal's not allowing to jump in. 8, he'll be able to get the node off, and it is on top of Ori. That BKB's not going to for long, but the Echo Slam. Mid-1, control. That's the one Lanham water. That's the one Lanham got. 3 heroes from Team Secret pushing up the daisies. Fighter will stick around a little bit longer, see if he can get a hill before this pullback ends up happening. The damage is high and Fighter is out. 11 will be able to survive, and Chen completes his own TP.
Paparazzi hits really hard. Did you know?
I know.
Again, I'm kind of going to be repeating myself a bit, but this is really what is happening in this game. They get the jump, the Global Silence, and actually in this instance, they tried to swap aggressively. They just use Global. You're kind of engaging for them. When you swap the Terrorblade in and he gets BKB off in the Global, the execution that Secret need to pull off is almost impossible. They need to swap the guy into a Lena stun and then burst him before Global comes off. Like, that's a really difficult task.
Is that even the way you do it? Like, right now, it seems like mid-1's the one having the best initiation just by doing the range harassment onto VG Gaming. Drop him down low before the fight even begins.
I don't know. I think at this point, for me, Secret are just facing a drafting problem. They've kind of run into a wall, and in my opinion, they got to itemize around this Global Silence so that when that comes out, they still stand a fighting chance. If they don't buy the right items to solve this problem, every single fight is going to be the same, really. You can have all the items in the world here, but you can't take the fights.
They're fighting, and
really feels that way.
They can continue to fight until the bitter end. So this game could go on for a very long time because Lena's got clearance, Ember's got the push out. You've got Venomancer who can just build a plague wall. VG Gaming will have a hard time getting in, and the initiation to the base is also quite difficult, getting around the Venomancer. That was the one thing from that last fight. Batrider couldn't get the jump. He couldn't get that instant initiation off because the Poison Sting was on him. So that Blink Dagger never able to be used, but they have a solution. The man who locked down mid one last time, and the man on your screen right now, Aghanim Scepter and Blink Dagger for the Earthshaker. He is the big man in the fights.
Yeah, Lanham just needs to be patient like he was in the last fight. Let the fight develop a little bit, find that core kill that you really want to get, and get the job done. And it looks like they're looking for that move once again. So Echo has just come off cooldown. Smoke should be ready here for VG Gaming. Actually, the group are not using it just yet.
They'll want to wait. If you look at Ori, he's got another 70 gold, and then a full Bloodthorn is completed on him with a double damage rune, with his 8-second BKB. They want to have that before the fight, but they still smoked up, and the Courier's bringing it, but it may be a little too late. They'll at least get into position, and there's no Radiant Observer Ward that watches this Courier. Every obs from Team Secret is defensive, and mid one, he's the target in the middle lane. He's not jumping out just yet, but that's why Puppey was sending him back. But Lanham's looking for it. Aegis the Immortal just times out. And VG Gaming, all the timings just aren't working. The Bloodthorn arrives, but the smoke's wearing off, and the Aegis is gone.
They've still got position though, so it wasn't all for naught. They have this position on the map now where they can be the aggressors. Puppey actually is going to leave that centaur. Liner showing off a little bit.
Fine. Yapsaw, that's a long swap. They go after 11. Global Silence won't actually stop it. So 11 is down. Yapsaw knew he was the sacrifice. But it won't matter when he actually has an Aghanim Scepter as well. He sacrifices, but he's already back and fighting. Lanham gets the jump. Venomancer will fall. But VG Gaming, what have you really got left inside the tank? You've got support kills. And maybe, well, this swap 10. Yapsaw, even in death, you can't get rid of him. Lanham jumps in, but Fada hits the perfect light strike array, and Midone will capitalize on it, finding the kill and looking for more. Searing chains up cooldown in 2 seconds' time. His Slider Fist already insuling onto Fenrir. Manastar breaks free of all the Silence's control, and then another stun from Fada. This one's on Paparazzi. You've got the Sunder available, and they just can't hit. Ori's attempting, but he just cannot finish the job. Troll Trap from Chen. Even now, they keep the chase going. The Ti8 traps will try and create a little bit more space, and it looks like VG Gaming can disengage, but Secret showing their teeth and biting down hard.
They did so many things right in that fight. I think Yapsaw got off 3 swaps. Obviously with that Aghanim Scepter, even when he dies, he has that low cooldown swap. Got the Terrorblade in. He got the first kill on the Batrider, traded his life for it, but also traded for the Global. So they end up getting this 4-on-4 fight where Global is not available, and all of a sudden it is a possible fight to take, but they need this like really crisp execution that they pulled off that time now. This is going to help. Fatsa gets the Lotus Orb, so he has a way of getting rid of Global Silence now. He was eyeing a Shiva earlier, but changed his mind, and I totally agree with this choice. It was either this or something like a BKB to just break out of it and be able to fight. And the upside to this, obviously, he can help his allies as well if there's somebody else who could benefit from it more. And it also counteracts the Sunder really well if used correctly.
Where does the Absol keep getting all this money from? And Aghanim Scepter, I know we're 35 minutes in, but he bought Vlad, he bought Nern, and he actually has other heroes on the map. And we'll watch it now again. So that long swap so far in. Lanham able to at least get a 3-man fissure, so he knew he could lock him down, but at this point, you've lost that jump initiation. You've lost VG Gaming's positional advantage, and VS just does the rest of it.
Yeah, she got the secondary swap in, so what we didn't see in that replay toward the end was Terrorblade just barely got his BKB and cheese off, and they were able to at least stay alive and take the fight, but Secret won that in a big way. They pulled back from a 7k disadvantage to 3k. Gained a lot of... And a final thing that Puppey... Mid one was super clutch with the helper. Oh, yeah, okay.
Farewell.
That's TA for you.
And they'll take out his army as well.
So this double halberd from Team Secret needs to be put to good use in every single fight. Getting the halberd on the TA before she BKBs, getting the halberd on the Terrorblade before he BKBs.
Swap already. Global Silence is out. The fighter has the damage output. Lotus Orb dispels quickly that Global Silence, so it's gone. They were looking for the wards.
Similar situation to before. Secret actually do have a move now. If they can bait the Global out like this, Yapsaw has so much work to do in this game, and he's delivering. He really needs to land these key swaps at every moment.
He's been able to do it so far. VG Gaming just trying to retreat. Well, they were the ones hitting their timing. Ori is just an absolute beast. He's 21,000 and increasing net worth compared to the top for Team Secret, which is 17k. But what's your effective net worth once the Batrider gets deleted from the fights?
Yeah, what's your effective net worth on the Batrider in general? Look at his net worth. This is a position 3 hero. 11 is poor. this game. He has very little in the way of defense. That's why he just gets picked off. I think he has to grab himself a defensive item, working on the Yules currently to just counteract that swap until he gets that. There's a lot of pressure on the rest of VG Gaming to deliver. I think this Batrider has kind of missed the timing at this point with all these deaths.
Yeah, and it's Batrider who's meant to be the initiator, and Lanham, all his great fidgets have been real good, but the only target that's been presented by Team Secret is Yapsor every single time, and that's a target that comes back to life again.
Yep. Definitely don't want to echo that Venge. You want to try to find the Ember if you can. Even Venom seems like a bad target. If he has all these defensive items, Ace has 50 armor.
Roshan's alive. Ember Spirit trying to come in for that Arcane Rune. It goes to Paparazzi, and mid one will have to cop a little bit of damage for it. Roshan, you know they want to pop in. Both teams not seen it yet, but there's your swap from Yapsor going after Ori. He'll burn the BKB very early on. It's not a long duration one, but Yapsor, they Lotus Orb him up. He's already going to start to heal. In fact, Poppy just sends him all the way back to base. Paparazzi burns his own BKB. It's a low duration, so lower cooldown. But this is an opportunity for Team Secret if they want to try and posture around Roshan.
Secret are outplaying them really hard in the last 5 minutes. VG Gaming were building such a nice advantage. They had the items they needed to take the fights, but this Vengeful Spirit is just a really, really big problem that they don't seem to have the solution for right now. The only way to really counterplay this better is by just having better precision and being quick. You need to be able to counter jump or ideally initiate yourself. I think if they jump the Venge, it's fine. Yapsor is such a big problem that why not?
Yep.
Go and grab him if you can with the lasso.
Well, they're looking for him. Batrider's waiting there, just keeping an illusion inside of Roshan, expecting Team Secret to go in there. But whoever starts Roshan's kind of at a negative, because they're the ones that are going to be initiated on. And Team Secret, as we've seen time and time again, it's only with one jump. With Yapsor, they make it work, but this is the way they want to do this. Oh, actually, that's a huge Nova from Ace. He may actually have a little bit more life. Global Silence will not come out, but everyone's got the dot on them from VG Gaming, meaning they may not be able to push hard enough through. They get rid of the double VS, but then Sleight of Fist, Searing Chains, Paparazzi, he has to BKB and swaps life with Lanham. Paparazzi doing everything he can to keep the heartbeat up, and they'll shrine. Paparazzi doesn't need it. Everyone else does.
I wonder why.
Because he's a thief. He's the carry version of Arfu.
Well, it is currently a 5-on-3. Secret do, however, have buybacks.
Well, Poppy's in trouble. Oh, actually, that jump in from 11 doesn't really work with the fidget control. Ori was still there to hit through with the Echo Stun. They want to bring down mid one, but they're giving the Lincoln Sphere protection. A quick jump away with Lanham using the totem for the swap. Yapsor goes in. He's looking for the kill onto Lanham with a Sleight of Fist Series Chain. They'll actually get it. Yapsor will die for the cause. Remember, he ain't really dead. Now he's really dead. They go through the VS illusion. Ori still looking for something else on the front lines, losing defensive refraction charges. Lotus Orb protecting Yapsor with a Fisher. Actually connects with a Fighter 2, and Paparazzi can now go big and not home. Finding the double kill and into Roshan. There is no way that Team Secret can contest this. They don't have anything left in the tank. They can just push out. That's all. Wait, hang on. Mid one, hang on. You did this before. He's thinking about doing it again. Side of Fist, but the series chase. Last Great tries to fight space for mid one, dropping quickly. He needs more time. Manasol, another Side of Fist, but the jump off. It's the target. Echo is beautiful. Double kill for him. And Team Secret are now on the ropes, staring down the buybacks on both Lina and Ember to defend.
Oh, they did not account for that refresher shard. Lanham gets it off and gets a beautiful jump into Echo. He made one big play before that. I was about to say big plays from Lanham, and then, well, why not just give me another one, you know? Keep it going. Really nice Earthshake play from him this game, and now this pressure on the mid tower, I think Secret might have to buy back Fata as well. They're trying to hold on to it for now, let mid one do the damage, but
they're very, very worried, but Lanham, he is waiting in the wings. Fortification, trying to find more time for Team Secret just to get rid of this creep wave, but there's your Fidger. They start with the reflection. Global Silence, mid one will break free thanks to the Mana Star, but it won't stop Batrider. 11, he jumped in, he pulled him out. Yapsor will be there for the save. Again, having to sacrifice himself for the greater good, and they go instantly into the illusion. No double Yappy.
That has made a big difference of each, actually, that they started killing this damn Venge illusion when Venge dies. The secondary and tertiary swaps have been a really big problem, so get rid of them as fast as you can. No buyback on him. It's still a 5-on-3.
They're still trying to battle into the Plague Wards. Paparazzi, the control isn't there, and with a buyback from Lina, VG Gaming, they got the victory they wanted. They are hurting the bank of Team Secret.
Damn, look at these graphs. It's actually the dip that we just had. It's about 10,000 gold in 2 minutes. And now they're going to grab the shrine too. Paparazzi, thanks for the health to Fenrir. He's just going to earn himself up. Paparazzi did go for the Sunder cooldown talent instead of the Metamorphosis range, so only a 5-second cooldown on that Sunder.
This is what Team Secret need to have happen, though. Mid 1 instantly jumped down to the bottom lane. This lane has always been pushing in, and is reaching the tier 3 tower consistently. There's a nice double damage rune on bottom river, too, to help it out. But they need to start making VG Gaming look behind themselves. It's not Araxing yet. So Team Secret can play the momentum game, because they can't play the team fight game. That TA, as well as Terrorblade, 26,000 net worth each, compared to the 18k of the Ember Spirit, who's doing the best he can to keep things alive.
I love the way, by the way, that Vici set up that earlier fight. It looked like, so they basically baited mid 1 to use the Manta with the global, and he jumped away, and Batrider was on top of the Remnant down there. That was a very, very complex play, actually, to set up. And the swap from Yap obviously did save him, but he paid his life for it, and that, in the end, forced them to use the Lina buyback. So that chain of events cost them a Lina. Basically, a Lina buyback and the vengeful kill on the Ember, and they still got the tier 3, so the top shrine down, they're going to go for the bottom shrine, and they still have both Aegis and Cheese. I don't think Vici are going to stop. They're going to slow down the tempo at this point.
11, he's going to find another target, and it's Puppy pulling back. The Centaur will be able to get the stun, but Ori's moving over. A secondary stun. Puppy, he's got some distance. Ghost Scepter's available for him. The Nullifier flies down from Ori. It'll cancel off the Ghost Scepter, and Mid 1 wanted to help out. Came in a little too late, however.
That was so good from Puppy. That was perfect, but still not enough. He tried. Maybe it was not so good that he got caught. You could argue that. But
and the second time, that exact position. There's a 12% chance, according to Dota Plus, that Team Secret is still in this, so they are most definitely the underdogs.
I think the 12% is on Ember right now. Yeah, he needs to get really, really big so he can start killing these heroes off later on.
He's looking for protection, too. He's going to get rid of that Aquila and get a Lincoln Sphere. So that jump in you saw from Batrider previously can't happen again.
Yeah. It's a very defensive approach, right? It still feels like Secret just don't have enough damage in the tank, so they have to kite the BKBs. And we're reaching that stage when, during the BKBs, Vici can just get a lane of racks. Like, this Terrorblade and this TA hits so damn hard with all that minus armor, too, which is currently sitting in the backpack, but will come out soon enough.
He's got the Aegis Immortal. Nullifier is more important with the Bloodthorn, but no. 11, hello. And he'll swap back in again. Last Strike Array, Global Silence is out, but they have the damage to get the kill. As the Gemma True Sight also lost for VG Gaming, and Mid 1 wants to fight. He's gone Disco Ember.
Sometimes you just want a bounty room, man. And sometimes you just want a blind bounty room at 45 with all the enemy heroes missing. And
sure.
Most of the times you die. So, and
yeah, if you had an Alchemist, it would have been worth it.
He didn't even get it.
No, he didn't. Mid 1 can push out the bottom lane. VG Gaming, what do you do now? You got your Batrider on the sidelines for a bit. Do you just stay your blade? But it burns your Aegis the Immortal timing on the Templar Assassin. This is also about to go, now that I say that. Yep, there it is. Aegis Immortal is reclaimed. They still have the cheese on Paparazzi.
Yep, and he has a Daedalus on the way, I do believe this is. Or is it an MKB? It's an MKB. So, we'll be getting that in against the two Halberds. Good choice.
So much damage still from VG Gaming.
Yeah.
And now you start to question, like, do these Halberds still do the job? Maybe they do once the BKBs wear around.
They do.
And you stop TA from attacking. You stop Paparazzi from attacking.
Well, especially if Secret gets a jump on, they definitely do.
Searing Chains. Ori, he's going to just refraction and walk away. How many of these team fights can we have? Puppy just trying to put the fear into Ori. Tossing the penitence, but Batrider is up, and you see him already coming in. 11. He's been the big key play maker for VG Gaming. And now we got a reposition from Ace. That needs to come out before this fight begins. The Blink Deck is coming in the courier, but if the fight's already begun, the jump in from 11. He found Yapsel. They'll pull him in, but now they're trapped inside the river. Not exactly where they wanted to be. The Halberd stops the attack. Puppy is still in trouble with the attacks coming from the hillside, but they just keep him alive. Yapsel, it's a 1-for-1 trap and a huge one. It's the ES down. He never uses Echo Slam, but Paparazzi, he is the king of life. He needs to get involved in this fight, and maybe he will have enough. Chasing after Fada. Lotus Orb is protecting him for the moment. Side of Searing Chains from Mid 1, trying to keep the control up, begins his TP, and the last strike array from Fada. The perfect chaining of control allows them to back off. Somehow the two Puppies survive this attack.
Again, It's all about the halberd, man.
They're going again.
Ori's stayed alive.
Ori's ready. There's the jump in, the sleight of fist, steering chains to the work, and then Ori pushed away. Remember, he doesn't have the Aegis the Immortal, but he's got Global Stones. Mid-one will break free. Paparazzi swaps like one for mid-one. He wants to kill a Paparazzi. Maybe they can get both. Paparazzi's on the retreat. 270 HP is still a lot because, well, the bar looks low. He's got 2.8k life. But VG Gaming, what is going on here?
This halberd, or these halberds rather, but I think in both instances in that last fight, it was mid-one. Getting the first one when they get the jump from VG Gaming, getting that halberd out on the TA, and then the second jump here. TA just can't fight back for so long, and the halberds are definitely doing work. Wonder if we're going to see a change up in item build, just getting a Linkage or something on this TA, because she's struggling.
Farda's beating into the tower. The top tower goes down to half-life. But VG Gaming, they'll hold true. A Blink Dagger is the purchase up from Paparazzi.
Is a really big item in this game. You feel like these fights are all about just secret kiting and delaying the BKBs, but if Paparazzi can jump into the middle of all of them, cast Reflection, and just start laying into them, they will get ahead in the fight, and that's what they want to be. Just get that small advantage so that the TA can jump in with confidence and use that BKB aggressively and not be halberded while it's running.
If they can get that, maybe Lanham can finally start having that space that he's been almost begging for. Team Secret locked him down. They took away that big team fight controller that has been really problematic for mid-one. And mid-one also wants to fight. Arcane Rune bottled up. They look towards that top tower, see if they can get a shrine of their own. But VG Gaming already in position. A fresh Yule Scepter onto 11. So finally, he started working on that about 20 minutes ago. He's now completed it. Takes towards the sky. They ping him out. They see him.
They want to get the swap. Yapzor is going to look for it the whole time. The very little cooldown rate of Terror with the talent. Just always on the hunt for this Bat Rider.
Mid-one has to keep the other lanes pushed in, so he'll BT out. Very good way of actually running this global pressure. Chen can send mid-one back at any time and then just BT out towards the lanes. So they can be very, very efficient with the Ember Spirit, not to mention his Spirit jumps. And Team Secret, Spirit up, Spirit down. Not where he really wanted to be.
They're in a good aggressive position on the map, though. They're behind on gold, and VG Gaming obviously still have that cheese that is now given to Lanham, but if Secret get the right position and they get to initiate up on this high ground, it's a lot harder for VG Gaming to counterplay. They will try to fish for information here with the Psionic traps.
Secret don't want to fight yet. They smoke up, but they need to back out. Mid-one is not there ready to fight. He wants to go over and pick up this Lincoln Sphere before the fight begins, but it won't happen. Lanham jumps down. He'll find the Invis Rune blocking Poppy in the river, and Paparazzi, he just goes full steam right over on top of Fada, protected a little bit by the nose of the Paparazzi. Doesn't want to swap out thing. He just wants to kill off Fada, but Yapzor's in there for the summer Paparazzi. There's just so much of him. He pops the mana style, killing off double now, and they drag back Ace. It is just one by one. VG Gaming killing off Secret. They'll find down the illusion too, so goodbye the extra one. The buybacks have to start coming in. Fada will start his. Mid-one's already left the fight. He's pushing out the top lane. They look towards Roshan, and surprise, surprise, the big man is here.
What a big payoff from that Blink Dagger for Paparazzi. Perfect item choice in this situation. Really gave them what they needed in the fight.
30 HP. Mid-one actually potentially, if you get that sleight of fist, Fenrir would be dead right now. And I still cannot believe that going into that fight, Mid-one didn't have his Lincoln Sphere. They forced the issue.
Yep.
They actually pulled Mid-one back into the fight, saying, don't do it. The 4 catapults on bottom lane, I think someone has to go down and deal with this.
Another detail about that fight, well, it's not really a detail. There's no Echo Slam used by Lanham in that engagement, so he has 2 if there's a fight right now. The second Refresher Shard has now been claimed. He has a lot of mana in his item build on the Shaker, so not going to be a problem for him. And here we see a really nice fissure to start it off. And this Blink, triple Reflection. And Secret just have to run away, but they can't.
Yeah.
And getting that Vengeful Illusion is really, really strong for the Terrorblade as well.
I think it's actually one of the first fights you actually see VG Gaming saying, well, you know, Yapzor isn't the first one we'll kill off, but that's because they had Fada. He has been such a nuisance throughout every single one of these fights. But this is VG Gaming now just out positioning Team Secret.
Well, speaking of position, Paparazzi can barely move when he's chained for 4 seconds. He's moving a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Coming down. Yell Scepter up, looking up towards the top lane. It's Puppy who's in trouble. Support's coming in from the ES, as well as from the Ember Spirit. And the Gem of True Sight, it's dropped, but I don't think 11 really noticed it. Either that, or he's looking for more kills straight away.
I don't think they realized, but that gem is going to be very difficult for Secret to recover. It's in such an awkward spot. They could maybe send out the courier all the way across the left side and grab it. For now, they are definitely hesitating to do that. Want to see the heroes first of VG Gaming.
You're finally getting that Battle Fury build in for mid one. You asked yourself very early on if you get it, and 52 minutes in, he starts to build it.
Yeah, they have damage problems, and I think, so, as I said at the time, I think if he rushed the Battle Fury, it would have probably backfired. But at some point, you're going to need to get this physical damage late in the game. They just don't have what it takes to kill off the...
Can they actually push this bottom?
VG heroes.
You've got Yapso as well as mid one, though. Lend the wave of terror. Quick Sleight of Fist will burn through most of the wave. And they just want the tier 3 tower. He'll jump out and they'll leave the VS illusion to finish the job. So yeah, right. Tier 3 tower will take it. Shrines open up.
All right. Playing a split game with Ember. Something mid one is very adept at. Don't think they're in any position to reach these shrines anytime soon, though. Yep. They're very cornered in their base, but it's still a step in the right direction for Secret.
As Team Secret, where are these lines drawing? This is VG Gaming saying, let's go in through the bottom, while Yapso is circling up on the northern side.
Moonshard for Ori. Gonna eat that up straight away.
They're actually starting to run out of item slots on these two cores of VG Gaming. You're 53 minutes in, everyone should be pretty well stacked. He's going in for Refresher off next, so it's all about just redoing the utility.
That item is so good on Terrorblade late game. Having secondary metamorphosis, having, if necessary in the fights, the double reflection, but it's already such a low cooldown, so I don't think you really ever want to refresh that. But double BKB, double Manta, double metamorphosis is really what it's all about.
But how does VG actually get up this hill? They have to go through the Plague Wards, they have to go through the Sleight of Fist, which doesn't put mid one into a bad position. And this will be even worse once Ace is able to hit that 3 times Plague Ward. If he can hit 25.
That will take a while.
It will take a bit, especially when he cannot leave his base.
He is so far away. He is so under-leveled, actually. Level 20, minute 54.
That's fine. Yapso's 22.
Yeah.
And then you get, what's his up? Is he going to start piercing immunity? Paparazzi, double damage room. That's one scary Terrorblade. They'll disarm him because he doesn't have the BKB. So, hey, isn't that a nice thing to have? And they can just chain the halberds. 8 purchased up his own one. So Paparazzi sends in the illusion to beat in. They're going for the melee right to begin with. Blink Lasso! They found the target. Global Silence is out. And they pull him far enough away. Ace! He's still not down. He will go down for 2 deep. Yapso wanted to help him out. The aggro set! Side of Fist Anderson! Both of the aggro set! This build did clip Puppy, however, so he'll forward farther. The same Yapso! A huge swap. The illusion! Farther dies on the steps of the palace! Team Secret, they want to come out. They've bought back on the VS and the Venom. They need to find these pickups. The Side of Fist, it doesn't actually go onto Ori.
He felt the chains. He cast them too early. He might have been able to get a chain there on Ori. Ori's thinking about it. He has the Aegis still, but no BKB.
It's 55 minutes. Collect your bounty runes, collect your senses, and then think about coming back in again.
Ori rediscovers his bottle in the pit. Like, oh, yeah, I forgot about this one.
Oh, I can actually get multiple charges out.
So that is a hold from Secret, but it is an expensive one. We see it here.
Here is that hold. So it starts off with the Bat Rider initiation.
The swap, but the last attack from Paparazzi does follow him into the base. And they do kill the Lina.
We never get to stop. Mid one, he's right on top of 11, gets the steering chains off. You're set to dispel. Mid one wants to keep the fight going, however, as 11 jumps on down. Ori's in the neighborhood. Mid one, Lincoln Sphere triggers. He bounces out, then straight back in again with a Sleight of Fist. He actually gets the kill, but then again, how deep is he? Ori, well, there's the swap out, and he's going to find himself an invis rune, so doesn't want to stop going with the Sleight of Fist as Vengeful Spirit. Okay, mid one is going to be safe. They don't have detection, so mid one stays with him. He wants Fenrir. Spirit committal forward. Fenrir's got the one charge available and muted. Ember Spirit has to do it the old-fashioned way. 2 gems next to each other. Lanham looking for the figurehead, and he'll connect. Mid one's in trouble. He'll Mana Style. Try and pop back out this one. Side of Fist dodging the attack from one, but he cannot dodge Ori. Triple kill for him. Buybacks are available. As Chen, Puppy walks into the middle of the fight. 3 heroes. That's not where a Chen wants to be. Nullified up and brought down. VG Gaming, they've got 5 kicking. Team Secret, they've only got 1 with a buyback. And he instantly has to use it. Create the space.
This hold is going to be so difficult. Lanham can use his cheese. Has another Echo Slam ready now. obviously didn't even use it in that last engagement. I think he had it on cooldown. So a 5-on-3 with everything on the side of VG Gaming ready to go except Lasso, which is in 20 seconds. And that's more than enough time before Venge and Chen spawn. So here we go.
Yeah, up comes Paparazzi. Refresher Orb is ready to be used. So never-ending metamorphosis. And they fortify, buy some time. Mid one, protected by the Lincoln Spear, gets the side of fist. They want to try and kill off the Earthshake. Remember, he's still got the cheese. Paparazzi goes down for the second lane of Rax, taking the tier 3 tower in the bottom lane for the lasso. It's there from the Batrider. He doesn't get out, however. Fada had the BKB to protect him, and Batrider is dropping quickly. The global silence is making it difficult to fight. They can't get the Nova up from the Venomancer. Ace will fall without getting in the Nova up, and does not have buyback to lend to this engagement. You still have the big DPSs up in mid one as well as Fada, but it does not matter. VG Gaming is so strong. They've already taken the second lane of Rax. Paparazzi, he's got Sunder a bubble. They're going to commit forward, and the Echo's one! Lanham was ready for it! 3 heroes down. They come back in again. The door is wide open for VG Gaming.
And it looked like they really wanted Secret to chase them there. They could have tried to play it a little more aggressively, but this bait play works out so much better. They basically get mid one to jump into the middle of them, and then very easy echo there for Lanham when you're so quick.
Yapsaw, he wants to do something here. Fada, I don't think there's communication. They'll get the sun over on the Yapsaw. He'll have the extra spirit, but look at him just focus it down. This is all up to Fada, and I do not see a way to do it. Not as Puppy. GG, well played. It took almost an hour, but VG Gaming take game 1 against Team Secret.
Secret made them work really hard for it, though. I thought that game was going to be easier for VG Gaming after the early stage, the way they put up their draft, but the halberds from Secret, the way they kited around the fights, the swap, the Ember Spirit plays out of mid one, definitely showing how